agreement that a lot of people are talking about on the social media space. All right, so first of all, why is it called the Samoa Agreement? I think it's because it was signed on the Pacific island of Samoa, all right? So that's where the name came from. So last week, I was actually in the office and a colleague of mine ran to me. I was like, Nigeria has legalized same-sex marriage, and I'm like, how? And I was like, look, they just signed it. Look, they just signed it. And all of that, and I went online, and then I saw, what he was talking about, which was not really what the document was actually talking about. I'm excited that the Nigeria Bar Association, has actually come up to clarify things and also to defend the federal government of Nigeria on endorsement of the Samoa Agreement. And there is no clause, as it were, on same-sex marriage. All right. So, what this particular agreement actually is looking at is about development, economic stability, and also global change challenges, that the whole world is facing right now, and how it can make everything better. All right, so we'll get into that very quickly. But first of all, I'm amazed that the majority of Nigerians can actually run with a wrong narrative. People didn't even take the time to go through that document and read it, and the whole of social media space was just talking about how Nigeria has legalized rights for the LGBTQ community. That's the lesbians, the gays, transgender, bisexuals, and the queers. All right, so but there's nothing like that. But then it started being wrong. When this news first broke, I'm sure you heard the same thing too about the legalization and all of that. Meanwhile, we'll get to the role the reps is playing in all of this. What were your initial reactions, to it, and also the signing of this agreement? Do you think the federal government has even done well?
Let me tell you. I can still tell you as we speak, whatever the NBA said is their personal opinion.
Really?
I'm coming. Look, we have been in this country for some years. It has come to say that in politics, whatever people say on a particular thing that has not been made public, 80% of it is truth. During the Muslim tickets, you remember that many people say it's not possible, not under this country. There were secular states. It happened. Look, what happened is this. These governments have trust deficits. Whatever of things they've said, even if they are saying the truth, people will still not believe them because of what they've said in the past that has not come to stay. Refinery, refinery. We know what they said. As we speak, it is not ready. So they have trust deficit that people don't believe them. When I heard that, I know that as of rep, that is where my mind went to. These people will not agree. To tell it, I'm going to send it to. As of rep, I know. Then secondly, I know politicians can sacrifice anything for money, especially if it's foreign money. It is not only peculiar to this government, though. They can sacrifice anything. So far, they are going to get money for the country, and they want to use it to run government. They can sacrifice them. So, but one thing is that how are they going to deal with the culture and Islamic organization? Even Murid, that is always supportive of this government, go against it. Then, let's now look at what happened. One of the mistakes the government did was that how can you be signing an agreement with anybody international? Why are you keeping the document and not throwing it to the press? As we speak, that full document has not been given to the press.
But there are aspects of it.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not that one. Is not the real thing. People can be giving snippets around as we speak. There are good journalists that have gotten the entire. They don't see it. If we see it, you don't even need to say debunk anything. Throw it to the media. The media will throw it out. People can easily search for it and read it themselves.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, Mr. Dipino, what you're saying is perhaps the insinuations from people online might not be too far from the truth. Is that what you're saying?
Do you know there are some certain member of that particular group that their own agreement they have with within the same group has it inside. That is where people are now joining it together. What the federal government needs to do, look, it is not there. Journalists, I give it to you. So, ordinary Nigeria can Google it, look for it, and read through. This is the agreement, and such is designation, and whatever, and it must be the same thing. By the time they can now come out and say, no, this is a fake news. As I speak, there is no journalist in Nigeria that can bring it out and say, this is a full copy signed by the government. By the time you are doing that, you are giving rooms to rumor, you are giving rooms to insinuations, and that's the then why is federal government keeping it away from National Assembly? Because why are you keeping it away from National Assembly? Because they are the one that will still scrutinize what you have just what you have done. Then another thing again is that will National Assembly keep it to themselves? They will throw it out. Then if National Assembly be our representatives, why would I have some people as my representatives and you get to know about one thing? Me that I even sending them will not even have. They should throw that particular. Let us see that agreement so we can see with our koro eyes that is not there. Apart from that, all this one that NBA is talking, are they giving copy to NBA? Which one are they reviewing?
Thank you, Mr. David. Mr. Shopito, please, on this Samoa agreement, according to what is available online, there is nothing pointing to legalizing or even giving acceptance or rights to the LGBTQ in Nigeria. The agreement, according to what I read and understand, is the fact that it is to strengthen the capacity of the EU and the ACP countries to address global challenges together. All right. So there are also some other priority areas which includes democracy, human rights, sustainable economic growth, climate change, social development, and so on and so forth. But you heard what Mr. Igwe just said. Hiding the entire document from the public purview, sends a wrong signal to Nigerians. Are you also of the same opinion?
Well, to be honest, I've not looked for it. But I suspect that if we look for it, we'll find it. Because some media outlets online have said, I've read their reviews where they said they have 172-page documents where they looked at all the process. So I think that if I really want it, I'll get it. But I've read enough reviews. And I was actually I attended a webinar where, long before now, about a month ago, where the details of this Samoa agreement was discussed extensively by officials of an NGO, a CSO, I'm in the CSO space. Yeah. So I'm the CSO, some representatives of the EU were at that seminar. And then, it was a very well attended seminar with people that know what they're doing. And a lot of questions were raised around this issue. There are certain clauses, 2 of them in that agreement, that if subject to interpretation, can be seen to be in a very subtle way promoting this sexual rights. That, I think those are the 2 words that were embedded in that document. Sexual rights. What does sexual rights mean? What does it mean? So I believe that there is no explicit clause in the agreement that says you must allow LGBTQ. There is no such clause in that document. There is a clause that talks about promoting human rights, freedom of expression, including sexual rights.
Freedom of association.
Freedom of association. So you can interpret these things as you choose. Yeah. There's another one, in fact, the one that really raised a lot of controversy in the seminar that I referred to was another clause that talked about sexual education, that talked about promoting reproductive health and reproductive education at our school level. It's there. So one of the people that attended, a lady, she took that particular clause up and she made a lot of noise. She stopped, she disrupted the webinar for a while, trying to get an explanation of what exactly the intention of that clause was for. So there are certain controversial clauses, and I don't think it's as explicit as people are making it sound. It's not that simple. The LGBT, the letters always confuse me. Let me just say the letter community, right? There's an agenda, and you can see it playing out globally. I am very firmly, I'm completely unapologetic in my opposition to these things, because I don't think that these are things that you should be trying to force on people. If you decide this is the way you want to live, good luck to you. Do your thing. But why would you try to force me to accept that what you are doing is good? I don't understand that. And so that's my position about this. And I don't think that it would be right for any document to try to compel any sovereign nation to accept those practices and try to even now enforce them in your own territory. But this document does not do that. What the document is doing is more subtle and perhaps more dangerous. You know, so we just need to keep our eyes open. Now, we have laws that are very explicit that these things are illegal in this country.
Do it for 10 years.
So for me, there is no danger. There is nothing. We just make noise as usual as Nigerians over nothing.
Even with the fact that we have signed agreement,
the agreement is actually
still there's no danger.
There's no danger because first of all, you must domesticate any of these treaties. International treaties must be domesticated, and even when you domesticate, where there are inconsistencies with your local laws will supersede. Okay. Starting first of all with the Constitution and all other laws that derive power from the Constitution. So for me, honestly, it's just a lot of noise about absolutely nothing. The substance and the meat of the agreement itself, if you look at it, it's okay. It's a good agreement. But for me, it's not a big deal. It's just one of those international treaties you sign where, yes, there may be some benefits that will accrue to the country over time. As a result of this agreement, some investor will say, oh, okay, I want to go and invest in the sustainable climate programs in this country, and they bring some millions of dollars in. Those types of benefits will happen over time. So it's
which is why I think the president went on,
Sorry. So for me, it's a good agreement. I don't have any problem with the agreement. I don't have any issue with it. I just don't think that it's such a big deal, and I don't think that should have created the uproar. I think we have far more pressing existential issues to deal with than to be talking about some agreement for over 1 week.
But I like the way you have sort of like doused the tension, you played it down. Nothing. But let me mention that an 88 members of the House of Reps, are against this particular agreement. Right. To show the seriousness.
Mr. Adebero, sorry, they have the right. But I'm sorry, with all due respect to those guys, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. The issues that look, have they looked into that agreement and found a clause in that agreement that says that we must, as a country, accept gay rights, or that gay people is there a clause in that agreement that can negate our 14-year jail term? I don't understand what
like you said earlier also that this is a more subtle.
It's subtle.
Everything, when you imbibe things subliminally.
Yes, I agree. But those things cannot now be raised to the level where you now throw away benefits that potentially could accrue to the country. It's just funny.
Well, look, for me, number one, the House of Rep members, after all, there are a lot of bills they've been supporting and we don't like. This one. If the executive arm of government did not take the National Assembly along at this particular time, the Minister of Foreign Affairs should be that document and deal with the committee, both committees on Senate, on Foreign Affairs, to come and explain things. Why is this government not explaining? Number one. Two, you want to sign an agreement on behalf of all of us. Why are you keeping it away from all of us? Why must I be digging deep to get it? Yes, now, if truly, after all, this is not the first, is it the first agreement they are going to sign? No. And we are saying, why keeping it if there is nothing behind it? Number one. Then number two is this. I can tell you, Mr. Ashopipo, let me give an example in Lagos State. Lagos Task Force, they used to arrest cars that pay one way and the other, right? Okay. Okada on the highway, yes or no? When it's come to the election, it's not a matter of what I'm coming. It's not a matter of what. Look, it's not that tax force will not be working. They'll just tell them, I
understand now.
They won't tell them, but they're still. Look, if the federal government, the power that we know that the president has, Inspector General of Police, look other way. Look other way. What it means is that all these non-valuable things, I don't even know what to, all these acts, all these sexual whatever they are seeing. Because it's nothing there. We don't know. I don't know the implication of this one. We don't know the implication of this one. We don't know.
There's nothing there.
Hold on, Mr.
We don't know.
I want to ask a question. I know that we all get worked up, when we talk about this issue of same-sex association, same-sex marriage, and all of that. Having said that, the whole world is already on this matter in different dimensions. In some countries, it's already acceptable. It's not
we know. I'm talking about my own country.
Let me land, Mr. Adekunle.
Maybe because I don't have any other country.
Are we going to keep living in denial, though? Having said that, I am not against the laws of the Nigerian the Nigerian nation. I am not in support of the same-sex associations as it were. I'm just asking a question as it is coming to my mind. Are we going to keep living in denial, though, that this doesn't exist in our society? Because we know they're all around us. We see it. We see them pushing it. So are we going to keep living in denial?
Yes, we must live in denial.
We have to live in denial.
We must insist on upholding the values that we stand for as a society.
Okay.
We must not follow the West in normalizing what we generally, he's a Muslim, practicing Muslim, I'm a Christian, practicing Christian. Both of us, we abhor this thing. It is an abomination. Us, for most Nigerians, 80%. Of course, there will be free-thinking people who think there is no big deal, let them do. But generally, the generality of Nigerians, we don't accept this. Okay. We must live in denial. Our laws must say that this thing is wrong. Does that mean that some people will not be doing it? They will do it. But they will do it exactly. You still have armed robbers, in spite of the fact that it's illegal. But let them know that in Nigeria is not acceptable. It's not something. I can't be walking down to Ikeja Mall and then see a man and a man kissing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will blow them. So it's not normal. I don't want my children to see that. Okay. So we must live in denial as a society.
Look, who should get this thing?
10 seconds, Mr. Adekunle.
I'm not against that agreement.
Okay.
In fact, there are some agreements that are going to be the beneficiaries towards they sign it. You understand? I'm not against that agreement, no. But anything that will bring down our value, something that some people what they do in their own place, they want to enforce it because they want to give us chicken change. Because I believe it's a chicken change. If we abuse our natural resources very well. So that is the thing. Then they should not create a bad precedent for our kids. The way we were brought up, it's not very difficult for somebody like me that you convince me about all this. Okay. But all of the kids that are coming, they are in the social world now that they are dating whatever. So that is my ethical. Okay. I don't want to put it in a place where my daughter will now say, Daddy, I want to bring my husband home, I want to pick my wife. Now say this person, no now. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So
generated a bit of this one. Sorry.
Yes, but I'm sure it's clear now why so many people are, talking about this Samoa agreement online. The comments here are even small compared to the ones on the social media space. Nigerians, the majority of Nigerians are totally against, the signing of this agreement. First of all, by the president, and the House of Reps also is in agreement with that. They have advised the federal government, to put a stop, to this agreement, and also they are calling for an investigation into the whole agreement. Let's people who know, who can read the fine lines in between, what is it with terms and conditions.
You're not serious.
Let's read through the fine lines and know exactly what this agreement actually portends for us Nigerians. Having said that, please remember that any homophobic sentiments expressed on this table are not out there to hurt anybody, but just to buttress the point we're discussing. Stay still remember that in Nigeria, same-sex marriage or same-sex associations of any kind is a crime.
14
and you
years.
could go to jail for it. So be reminded of that.